Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my recap of last night's Emmy Awards. That's right, we're getting into the fall season. This is one of our first major award shows of the later part of the year. And last night was the 77th annual Emmy Awards, the ceremony honoring the best on television that increasingly awards nothing that is on actual broadcast television. And I've got to be honest, I was expecting a pretty dull ceremony with a predictable list of winners, and instead we got a pretty dull ceremony with an unpredictable list of winners. Well, unpredictable unless, of course, you were competing against Adolescence. The host for last night's show was Nate Bargatze, whose comedy I enjoy, and he got off to a pretty good start with a take on his hilarious SNL George Washington sketch, playing Philo T. Farnsworth, the inventor of television, predicting the future that his new invention would unlock.
What is streaming, sir?
A new way for companies to lose money.
It was a great way to harness his energy and to open the show, but that was kind of the highlight for me. I think that he's a really funny comedian, but maybe not the best awards show host. Honestly, I thought he looked a little bit lost. He did have a few lines that made me laugh, but I didn't think that it was an overly impressive performance. It didn't help that he basically had one bit. At the beginning of the show, he announced that he was going to donate $100,000 to the Boys and Girls Club of America, but for every second that a winner talked over their 45-second limit, he would deduct $1,000 from that total. If a speech was shorter than 45 seconds, then money would get added to the pot.
Can't change it. This is a game I made up, and these are the rules. So
it's a pretty good bit, and it did lead to some funny moments, and the rule in comedy is usually commit to the bit. But I think that the show overcommitted slightly. I was not a fan of the on-screen total decreasing as a winner went over on their speech. I felt like it upstaged the winner a few times. And I think it would have been better to just keep track of the total between winners, as Bargatze did anyway. In the end, the total ended up at negative $60,000, proving that literally nothing will keep award winners from talking too long.
yeah, that's tough. And the kids are going to take it. So it's brutal.
I mean, honestly, the Boys and Girls Club is lucky that Adrian Brody wasn't nominated because he would have bankrupted them. In the end, the organization ended up with a $350,000 donation, so that's nice. But that was really the only thing that the show focused on between winners. Something else that the Emmys broadcast didn't focus on was the shows that were nominated. I made a note to look at the clock and write down the first time that they featured a clip from one of the nominated shows, and I got all the way to the end of the show. That's right, the Emmys, the show whose purpose is to celebrate the best in television, did not feature 1 second of any nominated show with audio. Not in a clip, not in a montage, nothing. I guess they figured that if you were watching the awards ceremony that you'd already seen the shows, but I wholeheartedly disagree with that logic. Why in the world would you celebrate the work of actors and writers and directors and not show the audience at home 1 second of what you are celebrating? Do you not want somebody to see a 20-second clip of Noah Wyle in the pit and think, oh, you know what, maybe I need to check that show out, or it's been on my queue for a while. Yeah, I need to watch that. But the Emmys had other things to do, like have Reba McEntire sing the theme song to the Golden Girls, or let Jennifer Coolidge do a not-so-tight 5 while presenting, again. And of course, cut to commercial every 5 minutes. I swear this broadcast was as much advertising as it was awards show, and I learned a lot about several upcoming series and movies, as well as more than I ever wanted to know about how painful shingles can be. Thanks, Big Pharma. Luckily, the show was largely saved by the winners of the awards, and I thought that most of them were both surprising and worthy. And let's start with the show that won the most awards on last night's Emmys telecast, Adolescence, which swept every category in the limited or anthology series genre that it was nominated in last night. In fact, Adolescence is now one of 9 shows to either sweep or win 6 out of the 7 major categories in its specific genre in one ceremony, joining Angels in America, Schitt's Creek, and The Crown, which all went 7 for 7, and All in the Family, Hill Street Blues, Olive Kitteridge, The Bear, and Succession, which all won 6 out of 7. Although it should be noted that The Bear and Adolescence didn't actually lose any major awards because both of them lacked a nominee for Best Lead Actress. The first major win for Adolescence went to Philip Barantini for his direction, well-deserved, and awards followed for writers Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham, supporting actress Erin Doherty, supporting actor Owen Cooper, Stephen Graham again for lead actor, and the series overall. If you saw my review here on the channel, you know that I was a big fan of Adolescence. I know that a lot of people wanted the Penguin to win in some of these categories, but I really can't begrudge the show winning in any of these categories. And I was especially happy to see Owen Cooper win for Best Supporting Actor, which made him the youngest male acting winner ever at the Emmys. And look, this kid is having a great year. I mean, he put in a brilliant performance in his first ever role. He helped lead the show to multiple Emmy and other award wins. He made history with an Emmy win, and he got to hug Sydney Sweeney. I mean, that's not too bad for 15 years old.
Honestly, when I started these drama classes a couple of years back, I didn't expect to be even in the United States, never mind here.
The other big winner of the night was The Studio, which won 4 awards on the main telecast and received 13 Emmys total for its first season. That is a new record for both most wins by a comedy series in one year and most wins for a comedy series in its first season. Both of those records are previously held by The Bear, so it's nice to see those comedy series records held by, a comedy. Seth Rogen picked up the first award for The Studio on the telecast for lead actor in a comedy, which was his first Emmy win. He would go on to win 3 more Emmys, 1 for writing along with the rest of the team, 1 for directing along with Evan Goldberg, and as a producer on the show, tying him for the most wins ever by an individual in a single year with 4. He's tied now with Moira Demos, who is a key creative for the Netflix documentary series Making a Murderer, Amy Sherman Palladino, who won 4 in 2018 for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Dan Levy, who won 4 in 2020 for Schitt's Creek.
I don't know what to say. This is so nice. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
The Studio, I think, was kind of a perfect storm. It's a Hollywood show about Hollywood that's also, in my opinion, very well made, well acted, and funny. It's also very rare for the Best Comedy and Best Drama prizes to both go to shows that are in their first season. This is the first year since 1988 that the 2 top series prizes have gone to shows in their first season. The winners that year were 30-something and The Wonder Years. By the way, if you're wondering why nobody from The Studio thanked Sal Saperstein in their acceptance speech, which would be a reference to an episode of the show that was set at an award show, Seth Rogen told the press later that no one did it because he thought it would be weird to reference his own show's joke in an acceptance speech, which, honestly, I respect that. Now, conventional wisdom had Severance, which led all shows with 27 nominations, taking home the Best Drama prize, but it instead went to HBO Max's freshman series, The Pitt. The Best Drama category was pretty brutal this year, but I was very happy to see The Pitt win. I think it's a great show. And that love carried over into other categories. Catherine Lanasa won her first Emmy for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for her role as ER charge nurse Dana Evans. And Noah Wyle, who I just assumed had won at some point during his run on ER, won his first Emmy for Best Actor in a Drama Series. He also picked up an award as a producer on the series, so he's now a 2-time winner.
To anybody who's going on shift tonight or coming off shift tonight, thank you for being in that job. This is for you.
The Emmys are notorious for picking a favorite show and sticking with that show for a while, so it was nice to see 2 new shows not only be able to compete, but also win in the top categories. First-time winners were actually a recurring theme for this year's show. All of the winners on Adolescence were first-timers, as were most of the winners for The Studio and The Pitt. Kristen Milioti, who must have been very thankful that Adolescence didn't have a lead female role, picked up her first Emmy for The Penguin, which was the show's only award on last night's televised ceremony. And Severance wasn't completely shut out last night. The show had 2 first-time winners in the acting categories. Tramell Tillman beat a few of his castmates for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama and gave a very sweet speech thanking his mom.
Mama, you were there for me when no one else was, and no one else would show up. Your loving kindness stays with me.
And Britt Lauer won her first Emmy in the lead actress in a drama series category for her role as Helly R. And I like the fact that she referenced the show by writing "Let Me Out" on the back of her speech notes. I also just assumed that Hannah Einbinder had already won an Emmy for her role in Hacks, given that the show has been such a dominant force in the comedy category at the Emmys in recent years, but she picked up her first win, and there were several first-time winners that were even bigger surprises in their categories, shaking up a lot of the experts' predictions and spreading the Emmys' love to more shows. Andor picked up a major win with Dan Gilroy's victory in the Best Writing for a Drama Series category. I really really wish that Andor had been nominated for more Emmys, and I was fully expecting that the nominations it did get to be considered enough in the eyes of the Academy. So it was great to see it win, and deservedly so. The episode that Gilroy won for was Welcome to the Rebellion, featuring Mon Mothma's great speech to the Galactic Senate. In what was maybe the biggest upset of the night, Jeff Hiller won the Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series award for Somebody Somewhere over huge competition, including Harrison Ford for Shrinking, Eben Moss-Backrack for The Bear, and Ike Barinholtz for The Studio. I honestly haven't heard of that show, but I recognize his face, and it makes me curious to check the show out, and I might be even more curious to watch the show if they'd showed me some of his performance. I'm not going to get over this.
For the past 25 years, I've been like, world, I want to be an actor, and the world's like, maybe computers, and...
Adam Randall won the award for Best Directing in a Drama Series for his work on Slow Horses, another show that I've heard is quite good. This was also his first nomination. And while Stephen Colbert has won many Emmys in the past, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert won its first Emmy in the Outstanding Talk Series category, which really seemed like a foregone conclusion given the audience's reaction when the nominees' names were read. And this was clearly a reaction to Colbert's cancellation earlier this year over at CBS, which was also the network that the awards aired on, though the show doesn't go off the air until next year, so it could technically repeat at the 2026 ceremony.
I have never loved my country more desperately. God bless America. Stay strong. Be brave.
The Late Show's victory also extends a pretty incredible winning streak for talent associated with The Daily Show. Since the Best Talk Series category was established in 2015, either The Daily Show or Last Week Tonight with John Oliver have won in that category. When Last Week Tonight got placed in a different category in 2023, Outstanding Scripted Variety Series, it won that Emmy, and The Daily Show just resumed winning the Outstanding Talk Series category. Now, if you want to go back to the last year that neither The Daily Show nor anyone associated with The Daily Show won an Emmy in the talk and or variety categories, you have to go back to 2002, when Late Show with David Letterman beat Jon Stewart's Daily Show, Saturday Night Live, Jay Leno's Tonight Show, and Bill Maher's Politically Incorrect for the Emmy. So The Daily Show, Jon Stewart, John Oliver, and Stephen Colbert have had a stranglehold in this area for nearly a quarter of a century. There were, by my count, only 3 individuals or shows with repeat wins last night. Jean Smart won her 4th Emmy for lead actress in a comedy series for Hacks. She's won in that category every year that Hacks has competed. The Traitors won its 2nd consecutive Emmy for Outstanding Reality Competition Program. It's won both times that it's been nominated. And Last Week Tonight with John Oliver won its 10th consecutive Emmy for both writing and for the series overall, although it shifted categories over the year. John Oliver has now personally won 23 Emmy Awards, and Last Week Tonight has won 32, putting it in the top 5 all time behind The Simpsons, Frasier, Game of Thrones, and Saturday Night Live.
If I forgot you, it must not be that important. John Oliver!
We have more to recap about this year's Emmys, but before we get to that, I want to thank the sponsor for this episode, HelloFresh. It is September. The temperatures are going to start dropping soon. The leaves will be falling, and it'll be a great time to think about curling up inside with a nice home-cooked meal. Luckily, HelloFresh is ready with their biggest menu refresh yet, which brings comfort food and chef-designed recipes right to your door. HelloFresh has doubled their menu, so now you get to choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. If you want to eat healthier, HelloFresh has a lot of high-protein and veggie-packed recipes. And if you're a meat eater like me, you can get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost. From seafood to snap peas, if you want to make it, HelloFresh has what you're looking for. I'm not gonna lie, I eat out from time to time, but there's just something so satisfying about digging into a meal that you made yourself. And HelloFresh is America's #1 choice when it comes to home cooking. You get a home-cooked meal, great ingredients, delicious food, and it's delivered right to your door. I mean, sign me up. And I'm not just saying that. You can literally sign up for HelloFresh right now. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/DanMurrell10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/DanMurrell10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. Before we get to more stats, because hey, it's me you're talking to here, there is one mystery about the broadcast that you might be curious about, and that's what some of the winners said that caused their audio to be bleeped out or dropped out on the US broadcast. Luckily, the Television Academy uploaded the winners' speeches unedited, so wonder no more. The first remarks to be edited came from Hannah Einbinder, whose audio was dropped out when she showed some very, let's say, open antipathy to US immigration and customs enforcement.
Go Birds, ICE, and Free Palestine. Thank you.
John Oliver's audio was dropped out while he accepted for Best Scripted Variety Series, but his remarks were surprisingly not political. They were aimed at host Nate Bargatze, who pledged to put money back into the pot if anyone gave a short acceptance speech.
Thank you, Nate Bargatze. That is a lot of money for you. And you can add a to the swear jar as well. Thank you. Goodbye.
Adolescence supporting actress winner Erin Doherty was bleeped for, I think, complimenting the audience.
Thank you to the Academy, and you're all fucking stunning. Thanks.
And Seth Rogen had his audio dropped out while accepting for Best Comedy Series, acknowledging that the charity pot was already in the red for the evening.
If anyone else wants to say something, we're already in debt. We fucked over the boys and girls.
All right, so with that mystery solved, let's wrap this thing up with some stats, because that's probably what you come here for. First of all, let's look at some notable wins that happened not on last night's telecast, but at the Creative Arts Emmys. For the Guest Actress in a Comedy Series award, the winner was Julianne Nicholson for Hacks. Bryan Cranston won Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for The Studio. Merritt Weaver won Guest Actress in a Drama Series for Severance. Sean Hattasey won Guest Actor in a Drama Series for The Pitt. Arcane picked up its second Emmy for Best Animated Program. Rebel Ridge won for Best Television Movie. Pee-wee as himself won the Emmy for Best Documentary or Nonfiction Special. Jeopardy won for Best Game Show, but Jimmy Kimmel won for Best Game Show Host for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Alan Cumming won another Emmy for Best Host for a Reality Series, and Barack Obama won his third Emmy Award as a narrator for narrating the series Our Oceans. As far as the shows that got the most awards on the telecast last night, Adolescence led with 6, followed by The Studio with 4, The Pitt with 3, Hacks with 2, Last Week Tonight with 2, and Severance with 2, and then The Traitors, Somebody Somewhere, Slow Horses, Andor, SNL 50, The Anniversary Special, The Penguin, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert with 1 award apiece. There were a few shows that had 10 plus nominations that were shut out completely on last night's telecast. The White Lotus had 23 Emmy nominations, but won nothing on the air last night. The Last of Us didn't win anything off of 16 nominations. The Bear had 13 nominations, but didn't win anything on the show last night. And Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story and Black Mirror also won nothing on the Emmy telecast. As far as the most awards overall, when you count both the creative Emmys and the ones that were given out last night, The Studio led the way with 13 total awards, followed by The Penguin, which did very well in the technical and creative categories with 9 awards. Adolescence was next with 8 awards. Severance also won 8 awards, as did SNL 50, The Anniversary Special, and then Andor, The Pitt, and The Traitors all won 5 Emmys each. When it comes to the networks that took home the most Emmys overall, Netflix and HBO Max tied for first with 30 apiece. Apple TV Plus had their biggest ever total, coming in second with 22 Emmys. NBC was the most dominant broadcast network with 11 Emmy wins. Disney Plus had 7 wins. Amazon Prime Video and Peacock both had 5 wins. CBS walked away with 4. ABC, FX, and YouTube won 2 Emmys apiece. Hulu, Comedy Central, and Paramount Plus won 1 Emmy. And MTV and National Geographic were the only networks to get nominated, but also be completely shut out. Let's look at the winning percentage for shows that had 10 or more nominations this year. And SNL 50, the anniversary special, did best percentage-wise. It won 8 out of 12 awards for a winning percentage of 66.7%. Adolescence went 8 for 13, winning 61.5% of its nominations. And the studio went 13 out of 23. That's a 56.5% success rate. And those three were the only shows that won more than half of their nominations. The Pitt won 38.5% of its nominations. It went 5 for 13. The Penguin went 9 for 24. That's a 37.5% success rate. Andor won 5 of its 14 nominations for a winning percentage of 35.7%. Severance went 8 for 27. That's 29.6%. Hacks went 3 for 14. That's 21.4%. Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, won just 1 of its 11 nominations. That's a 9.1% winning ratio. The White Lotus only won 1 Emmy out of its 23 nominations. That's just 4.3%. But there were 3 shows with 10 or more nominations that won absolutely nothing. The Last of Us went 0 for 16 on its nominations. The Bear, surprisingly, went 0 for 13. And Black Mirror went 0 for 10. So those are the numbers and the winners from last night's Emmy Awards. What did you think? Did you watch the show? Are you over award shows? Did your favorites win? Did they not win? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching me here on the channel. Be sure to stay tuned this week. Tomorrow on Charts with Dan, I'm going to be talking about Demon Slayer's massive weekend at the box office. And I'll be right here with the latest in movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.